Can we see me? Can we hear me? Let me know. There we go. First errand, indeed, first. How we doing? How we doing? You guys know what I'm here for. And we're going straight into business today. Straight into business. Wagwan, what's going on? Salutations, salutations. How we doing? Let's begin. Ask me anything you want. Let's get this started. I am more than ready to get things started. And really? Now you want to get comfortable here? This guy. He does this thing where he tries to make it comfortable before he lies down because he's bougie like that. Isn't that right, buddy? Look at him. He's so cute and bougie. You gotta say hi, buddy. Yeah, he's adorable. But yeah, let's get this started. You guys know what I'm here for. Let us begin. I've been good, man. I've been good, Aaron. How you been? I am good, though, right? I'm not cracking up, lagging, anything like that. Sound, video, all that. I'm in sync. There we go. No, you're not late. I just got here. You are not late at all. I just got here. Oh, like the live, guys. Go ahead, like the live. Let others know that I'm here so the notifications can be sent out. But yeah, let's begin. I'm gonna try to see if I can make it to an hour today. I should be able to. Maybe a little more too. We'll see. But yeah. Should I go to Turkey, bro? I've been there. It's fine. It's fun. Istanbul. It's not a bad place. Oh, actually, I get that now. You mean for the hair transplant thing? Yeah. Apparently, Turkey has become the unofficial capital of the hair transplant capital of the world, right? I say build the confidence before you create or put on add-ons like that. If you can get and create attraction while you're having trouble with your hairline, for instance, or you have bald spots, then it won't be hard for you to do once you get that hairline fixed. But I say build the confidence first. That's what I think. Me and my girl having problems, and if she calls me, I won't pick up till the live ends. Fair enough. as it should be anyway. You know, prioritize yourself, your learning, your improvement over her. That tends to eliminate all the problems anyway. You're clapped. I'm guessing you mean your hairline's clapped. That's fair. Shave it all off. Go bald. Approach women that way. See what happens. You have to learn how to do things from a deficit so that when you do have advantages, it feels a lot easier. You don't want to rely on, the leverage that you do have or whatever advantages that you want to have. You want to be able to make things happen even when you don't have all the advantages in the world. That's how you can replicate those results even without those advantages, I'm talking to this woman who wants to be exclusive. I said I want others, and she cries when I leave, okay? It sounds like you're at an impasse. That's normal. That makes sense. It's your way or the highway. Pretty much it. That's it. Either she conforms to how you want to run things or she's not going to be there. It's that simple. She's not a bad person if she chooses one or the other or one over the other. It's fine. Either way. It's just that you have a way to live your life and how you run things. And if she's not willing to comply to that, then she's not going to be in your life. Plain and simple. No confusion there. We all have insecurities, man. Hair size. What's the best way to deal with them and not let them affect your game? You have to understand that those insecurities are there because of the way you perceive them, right? Let's really get down to what insecurities are. Insecurities are an error in your own perception or your interpretation of your perception, right? Everything that you call an insecurity, you only call that or those things insecurities because you've been told by someone else that you should. You've been told by others, you've been affirmed by others that those are things that are not good, are bad, and you've labeled them bad, and you've decided to feel bad about them because you've labeled them bad. You can also, as easily, as crazy as this might sound, label them good and begin to see them as good. I'm not saying that's the ultimate trick to it, like just start looking at your insecurities and calling them good. I'm just saying, understand how flimsy the concept of an insecurity is. Does that make sense? It's not real. It's an illusion that you buy into. So when you remember that and you move through life understanding that, it's very hard for you to take your own insecurities seriously. And as a result, impossible for you to let it affect you in any other way. Your game, the way you carry yourself, your confidence, anything like that. Because they're not real. They're not real. Everything that you think is bad, somewhere in the world, someone, not even someone, a large group of people or culture appreciates firmly, like a lot. Does that make sense? You've only been taught that it's bad because of whatever particular environment you're in. There's a lot of different environments all across the world where those same things that are bad are amazing if you go to those other different environments. I'm not saying you have to go to those different environments to feel better. If anything, you kind of defeat the point if you do. I'm just saying it's all an illusion. It's an illusion we all collectively buy into. Don't get it twisted, okay? Let's see. And she puts it in my face. Good. Don't give her anything until she does that. I react like I don't really care. You shouldn't. You shouldn't really care. You know? It's hard to not care when you're invested, but that's the point. It's to not... It's to be careful even when you're investing, to understand that women are women. And investing in them is always going to be a double-edged sword. You know? So be careful. What's up, Don? How you doing? On the previous live, I heard you talk about synchronicity and individuation briefly. What is that? Synchronicity, I think I was talking about it more in the aspect of positioning and having unlikely probabilities kind of align towards and with each other to create a certain effect or phenomena, right? I believe the world is just one giant game. And the game is played and won by understanding how positioning works. Physical positioning, emotional positioning, psychological positioning. And all these things have to be aligned for certain amazing things to happen. You know, magic, miracles, whatever you want to call it. Right place, right time, right headspace, right spiritual alignment, boom, magic, right? Didn't realize you were live. How's it going to be? I'm doing good, man. How you doing, Kay? I got to go back and check our Instagram, by the way. I know I was forgetting something before I started this live. But yeah, I'm going to go see what the hell you did because I'm curious. But yeah, it's all positioning. It's one giant board game, and we're all on certain squares. And we all, to some degree, wish we were on a different square or on a better square, or on a square further down the line. And the way we get to those squares is to first adjust ourselves internally so that we can begin to see the results externally. And all that is really just positioning, you know? What's going on, Profilo? I'm doing good, bro. How are you? T-Shell, what's going on? Is there a shot at redemption for Drake? Absolutely there is. The beautiful thing about it, I was talking to someone about this recently. I think it was on the live, actually. Was it on the live? But it might be one of my private group calls. But 50 Cent likes to say, you only get one chance at a first impression. And as wise as I think 50 Cent is, I think he is completely wrong about that notion. I think you get multiple chances for multiple impressions. You only get one chance at the first impression, yes, but the sentiment behind it is incorrect, which is that you only have one chance to, create an image or a reputation in front of someone. It doesn't work that way at all, because we see everyday real life examples of people overcorrecting to the other extreme and completely changing your mind about them. Happens all the time, right? You might have thought that so-and-so was a great person until you saw certain news about them come out. You might have thought so-and-so was a weak person until you saw physical evidence of them doing some strong, badass shit, right? It's very simple. It's very possible. You just have to be able to do the work to go to the other extreme. So for Drake, a lot of what is making Drake unpopular right now is that he's just a sore loser and very sensitive. He just needs to start introducing some nonchalance to his vibe and he'll be fine. It'll take a while for him to learn, but once he learns and perfects it, it won't be hard to get people to begin to realize, oh yeah, Drake really don't give a fuck. I'm good, been stewing on my weaknesses, but we go again until we keep winning. Exactly. That's a great mindset. That's a great mindset. So yeah, Drake has multiple things he can do. He just needs to stop caring so much. If I were Drake, right, you know what I would do? I would do something massive, right? I would go through some very painful, rather long process of transformation that would force me to force me to change, but not just for me to change, but for all, people to also, come to terms with the fact that my change is permanent, right? Change is believable when they see it happen. When they know that the reason behind the change is a deep one. If I'm Drake, I go off to the mountains of Nepal or something, or some cave somewhere, and just chill and meditate and stop and really detox yourself from the materialism, the flashiness, the consumerism, all that stuff. Drake is so deep in his world right now, where social status is the ultimate currency, which is why he cares so much about it. And the rule of the universe is when you care so much about something, you will be tested with that same thing, with the absence of that same thing, right? So no shit. Drake's test right now is, can he survive without the social status? And it's looking like he can't, which is why he's, pulling at straws and trying to do this and attempting to do that. It's all him trying to hold on to the self-image that he's been using as a currency for decades now, which is why he's coming off as pathetic, right? So if he can detox himself from all that for a few months, maybe even a year, and then come back a new man, renewed, with a new sense of purpose, without the need for external validation, he becomes an entirely different person. And then his music will change as well. It'll reflect in the art. It always does. And yeah, it'll be better for him. But men like him, men in that area, men in that mental space, they're too scared to go through changes like that, which is why he'll more than likely never do something like that, unfortunately. But it would be good for him. If I feel needy or people-pleasing with women sometimes, do I need to express that internally and not act on it, or repress it and convince myself that I'm not these things? Oh, nah, you have to... I always tell people, it's okay to use logical conclusions to change your own mind. It's one of the easiest things to do, too. You're trying to deal with the emotion directly, and that's where you're fucking up. You're trying to deal with, I feel needy. I feel like I really want to please this girl and want this girl. So because you're dealing with the emotion and you feel like it's energy you have to let out somehow or keep repressed, you're missing the point. The point isn't the actual feelings you have or the emotion you have towards women. It's where that emotion is coming from. I would ask myself, if I were you, why do I feel the need to please women all the time? Why do I feel so needy around women? What about me makes me feel so incomplete that I feel like I need women to complete me? And why am I in such a weird mental state that I'm willing to do whatever it takes to please a woman in the hopes that maybe she makes me feel complete in return. That's the real issue, right? It's not, the emotion is just a symptom. The real cause is how you think about yourself. Why don't you have respect for yourself? Right? I'm not saying that in like the cheesy way, like have respect for yourself. I'm saying, why don't you trust yourself enough to know that you can be the one of value to the woman? Why haven't you sat down and thought about it and go, you know what? These women benefit largely by having me in their lives. Why don't you ever see yourself as the higher value party? Why don't you think about yourself like that? Right? That's what you should start doing. Or start questioning that. If you question that, you'll very quickly begin to see answers. Very, very quickly. You won't like the answers you find out, but you'll find them. And then once you find those answers, you can begin to act differently and think differently. That's really it. Let's see. My friend told me I should go to the party, drop the comment, not talk to her, but talk to her girls. Sure, that works. Jace, what are the 7 gifts? Made an entire video about it. Go watch it. So it's in my video I call Imprinting 101. It's on my YouTube video. At what point does trying to go through the initial resistance girls give you become chasing? If you keep getting disinterest or indicators of disinterest and you keep showing interest back, that's chasing. That's when it becomes chasing. I keep telling you guys, when you get disinterest, give them disinterest back. It's very important. There must be some kind of pullback somehow. If you show interest and they show disinterest, you have to show disinterest back, either by disqualifying them, disqualifying yourself, saying something that makes you seem less attainable, less available. You know, if I'm talking to a new girl and I notice even a hint of disinterest, I will, like lightning, I don't even control it at this point. I'll just bring up one of my girlfriends, like, oh yeah, my girlfriend was saying that about me. So now it completely invalidates any attempt I made before that point, right? And that's the point. Like, you should just completely show disinterest. After that point, you just instigate. You ask for compliance. The compliance that you ask for will give her the opportunity to get back in your good graces. If she complies, then you reward that with, validation of some kind. Attention, time, compliments, whatever. Well, mostly just a compliment will do, especially in the beginning. You don't need to start going full balls to the wall with time and attention and stuff like that. But, that's the system. If they give you disinterest, give them disinterest back, and then you ask for compliance. If they give you compliance, then you reward that. That's how you distribute your time and attention effectively. Jace, have you read my text? Have you texted me before? Are you one of my students? Let's see. Oh shit, didn't realize you were live. Oh yeah, type shit. How is investing in a woman a double-edged sword? Well, because if you do it incorrectly, then you overexpose yourself and you leave yourself vulnerable to getting fucked over. All right, to put it very simply. Over-investing in women and over-investing in anything is a bad idea, not just women. I want to make that very clear. It's not that women in particular are so bad and evil. It's that any attachment to anything at all puts you at a massive disadvantage as a human being. Right? Attachment to material wealth, money, women, hell, even attachment to the idea of spirituality itself is in itself a trap as well. All right, that's a very tricky one because people think they're supposed to be trapped in that and they're not supposed to be. That's where religion comes from, right? Now you're in a different kind of trap, but it's a trap. See, so there should always be some part of you that's consciously aware of the level of freedom you have with your interactions with different things. Okay? Let's see. I've met a lot of black pillars recently with them giving up on their beliefs. What can you say to them? Oh, black pillars are finally getting out of the haze. Oh, make attempts, man. The difference between... I just think most black pill dudes are just lazy. I think the black pill is there. It exists specifically for men who want to justify their laziness. It's no secret that if you're at a fucking deficit, that you're going to have to put in a little more work to get women. No one's like confused about that. That's how life works in general, not just with women. If you're at a deficit, you need to put in more work. You need to overcorrect. You need to overcompensate. You know what I mean? So no one's surprised by that. If you're too lazy or somehow got too large an ego to put in that level of work you need to put in to start seeing the same results, then yeah, you don't get to complain that women don't like you because you haven't even made a solid attempt yet. The attempt needs to be made. So if you're changing your mind from the black pill ways, that's good. But the next step now is actually go stop being a little bitch. Go put in the work. Go put in the work and stop thinking that you're owed everything just because you put in a little bit of work. No, you're not. No, you're fucking not. It's competition out here. It's a whole marketplace out here, the dating world. And you're in competition with every other man. And every other man is a competition with you. You better learn how to outcompete other men very quickly. Get to it. How to tell her that I understand that she's lying to me, but she thinks I believe her. You tell her exactly what you just told me. That way you just said it, say it to her. Exactly the same. I understand that you think you're lying to me successfully, but I don't believe you. I know you think I believe you, but I can see right through your bullshit. Right? That's what you do. So that's the first thing. There's no special tricky way to communicate a thought or idea to a woman. You don't have to be complicated all the time. There's very few situations where it's useful to speak in the same language as them. I think it's a bad idea most of the time to try to talk the way women do or to try to speak womanese, because all that does is put you in their world. It puts you in their frame. It's a bad idea. But secondly, and this is very important, the reason you even want to say that to her, like I know for a fact you're lying to me, but I don't believe you, is because you're actually stupid. No, don't get offended. Don't get offended. Let that sink in. You're actually not as smart as you think you are. The only people that are concerned with not being outsmarted are dumb people. Smart people are smart enough to know anyone can get got anytime. That's how this shit works. To be so concerned about whether she's getting away with lying to you or not tells me all I need to know. It tells me that you're prime, you're ripe to be lied to because you're so paranoid about not being lied to. Does that make sense? What makes it easy for people to get away with scamming you or deceiving you or anything like that isn't how smart or how dumb you are. It's how emotionally attached you are to your own vigilance and intelligence in your mind, right? If you're like to the point where you want to tell her that I don't believe when you lied to me, she's already got you, dude. You're fucked. You're fucked. So I would go back and like adjust my thinking. Why do you even... Okay, think about it. Wouldn't the better play to be to know when she's lying to you and then just shut up and use it to your advantage? If you know a girl is lying to you, why would you fuck it up by telling her you know when she's lying to you when you can just use her lying to your advantage and just know it and keep it to yourself and act dumb? That's the smart play. That's what smart people do. Smart people act dumb. So, okay, I believe you. And then in the back of your mind, you're like, I know this bitch lying. That's what actual smart people do. So, don't let your ego and your emotions get involved in this. Don't allow that to happen to you, because all that'll do is make you a victim. That's all that'll do. All right? So, be careful. Go back, readjust your thinking and your mind, and go from there. How to run game on a coworker. We see each other too much. Seeing each other too much is not necessarily a bad thing. Seeing each other is, how much attention are you giving her? If you're seeing each other every day, but you're going out of your way not to talk to her, then you're not really seeing each other much. If anything, you're being, more mysterious and, a hard nut to crack, so to speak. With that said, though, game doesn't really start with coworkers until you can have or establish some kind of line of communication with them outside of work. The fucking you'll be doing if you and that coworker decide to go on with that kind of relationship is going to happen outside of work first. And then maybe you fucking at the workplace. Shh, don't tell anyone. But the point is, like, the real progress is made outside the workplace. You have to make it so that the flirting happens, not just at the job, but outside the job, and preferably in more than one location, more than 2 locations. So the job, a restaurant nearby, your place, her place, something. All right. Do with that information what you must. Do you think Kendrick Lamar knows the secrets of isolation? Not only does he know the secrets of isolation, he uses it very strategically to create all his work, all his projects. And Kendrick Lamar is a lot more knowledgeable than people realize, right? He's a very intelligent man, very well-versed, very nuanced in his thinking. That's why I was so disappointed when he put out that, whacked that line and whacked out murals. And I pointed at that line to make the video go viral, which I knew it would, but it was really the entire last half of that song. Whacked Out Murals is an amazing song, but that last half is like, I know you're smarter than this, Kendrick. Come on. You think in 7D. Don't come down to fucking 2 and 1D to pander to these people. It's not necessary. You're better than that, Anyway, yeah, Kendrick is very smart. I'm good. I already read that one. And yeah, I'm happy you want to keep going. Does separating yourself from your bad emotions, like acknowledging them as a distinct thing from you, work? No. It's terrible. It's a terrible thing to do. Because that's where psychopaths come from. When you start separating your bad emotions from yourself, you start deluding yourself into thinking that they're not a part of you. And so then everything you do must be just and right outside of those emotions you feel. Which is, it's a slippery slope, man. That's where characters like the Joker come from, right? Be careful with that. Besides, you don't want to live a life where the bad emotions are not part of you. Because life is duality, right? Life is balance. There's a positive and a negative part of the electron. There's a positive and negative to everything. There's a light and a dark. There's a cold and a hot. There's an up and a down, left and a right, north, south, east, west. Like, there needs to be a duality. There needs to be a balance to both. If you're all good and no bad, you're boring. If you're all bad and no good, you're chaos. You need the balance of both. Your good emotions are amplified because you have bad ones to follow with. That's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. I think the real thing is to not label things so much. Labeling, we're just talking about dumb and smart people, right? That's what dumb people do, is label everything and have an emotional reaction to everything they label. It's not going to serve you. A better way to move through life is to just understand what things are for what they are and not try to put a label on them. I'm not saying that there's no bad or good things. I'm just saying, even for the things that are bad, that you label as bad, there's some kind of seed of equivalent good in them. Same thing with the things you think are good. There's some kind of seed of equivalent bad in them, right? There might be things you interpret as good for yourself that other people might interpret as not that great, and vice versa. So learn not to label anything as one way or the other. It's a limited way of thinking. Myopic view on life. Have you ever had an experience where you dealt with dating someone where their family isn't okay with your skin color, and if so, how did you deal with it? To be honest, with those situations, I never ran into the family anyway, The one that's coming to mind is this girl I would date, and whenever I went over to her house, because she lived with her dad, her mom and dad were divorced and whatever, and she still lived at home. And whenever I would go over to her place, whenever she was at home, or, I couldn't come to my house because we lived a little far from each other, we'd go to her place, and her dad, like clockwork, every time would just leave the living room and go upstairs. I never met the man. He was always offended whenever I got there, and he would just leave and go upstairs. Now, I never felt uncomfortable, me personally. In fact, I felt powerful. You mean to tell me all I had to do was step foot in your house and you give me all the space in it? Fuck yeah. So if anything, I felt powerful. I almost preferred fucking her at her place because I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking your daughter in your house, and you're too scared to even come downstairs and say anything about it, you know. But don't mind that part. That's just me being crazy. The point is, real racist people aren't really racist. They're just scared. You know, the people that claim to not like you because of your skin color or whatever other reason they give to justify why they don't like you for your look or skin color, they usually have those reasons because they're low level people. These aren't intelligent motherfuckers with, you know, a robust view of life. These aren't people you can learn much from. These are people that move through life with a lot of fear, right? And there's some of them that have like quote unquote intelligent justifications that are very learned people, but trust me, they're myopic in their view because they choose to see the world in a very, no pun intended, black and white kind of way. So these aren't people I have to worry about. These aren't people you have to worry about. Just have fun with the girl, and if they got a problem with it, then they decide, unless they, you know, threaten you physically, then who cares? Keep fucking and keep having fun. I'm finding it impossible to let go of psychological internal limitations. How can I do it? You have no limitations. You put them there yourself. That's the first step to it, is understanding that you are the one in control. It's not something you have to get rid of. That's this massive weight you have to carry. You're the one hitting yourself. Why are you hitting yourself? That's it. Like, you locked yourself in a cage and you told yourself you can't get out, but you have the keys. So that's the first thing. Understand that. You put those thoughts there, you can take them out and replace them with something else. And I guess that would be the second point is, remember, if you're going to remove something from your mind, you have to replace it with something else. Your mind can never truly be empty. It needs to be occupied and preoccupied. So if you're going to remove something, replace it with something else. The problem with people is they're too focused on removing the bad. They never focus on putting in the good. And that's why the process doesn't seem as seamless as it's supposed to. It's supposed to be seamless because you're supposed to go and completely turn your mind away from what you don't want and put it on what you do want. Worried about physical and psychological limitations, whole time you could just be focusing on the advantages you do have, which would naturally make those limitations go away, right? It's like the advice I give with fitness. I always give the same advice over and over again. If you want to get strict with a diet, you know, if you're doing everything correctly, you don't think of a diet as how many things you can't eat. You think of a diet as how many things you should be eating. And if you're too busy following a strict diet, eating exactly what you're supposed to, you won't have the time to eat things you're not supposed to if you're doing it correctly, right? It's the same thing with your mind. If you're too busy doing the right thing, there will be no chance or time to do the wrong. All right? I think a lot of men or women have a problem with other people dating their own race of opposite gender. That's because people have this weird notion that other people can belong to them. Last I checked, slavery is frowned upon the world over, right? So you can't own another human being. And I don't know who decided to come up with this notion that just because someone is a part of your race or culture or anything like that, that they somehow belong to you or you have more of a right to them than other people. That's not how this shit works. That is not how this shit works at all. I'm a Nigerian man. I don't believe I own any Nigerian women, right? Not even the ones I'm related to. These are entirely other different human beings that can do whatever the fuck they want. Just like I am an entirely different human being that can do whatever I fucking want. Just because we happen to share a skin color or culture or anything like that doesn't mean that there's some kind of right that we have to each other. It may mean on some level, on the behavioral level, that, you know, as human beings, we're probably going to have an easier time relating to each other. But that's about it. That relatability doesn't automatically mean ownership. That's fucking goofy, right? That's stupid. So, yeah, scoff at those people, pay them no mind, dismiss them entirely, and please remind stupid people that they're stupid. So I'm beginning to realize that it's important to do that, Too many stupid people walking around here thinking they're smart. They're not, and they need to be reminded that you're not smart. If you have the time to, of course. Not that we always have the time to do that. But yeah, I keep getting sleep paralysis almost every night. What do you think is the reason I get them? I would look into the spiritual. I would look more into the spiritual aspect of things. If you're always waking up in the middle of the night without the ability to move your body. How have you approached girls who are taller than you? I feel like it's a mental thing for me. It is. It's literally always mental. Literally. How do I approach girls that are taller? Pretty much the same way I approach girls that are shorter. The only difference is I make them feel like their height is not a bad thing. And that's really the key to it. A lot of short guys approach taller women trying to make up for their lack of height. If you just approach those girls and frame the conversation as if you're willing to deal with the fact that they're taller than you, then you have complete control over the conversation. Now, you're not getting rejected because you're shorter. She's barely getting accepted because she's taller, right? So I would say, man, you're just at my cutoff. Any taller and we wouldn't be talking right now. That's what I would say. That's what you should say. Any taller, and we probably wouldn't be talking right now. But I like you. You're fun. We'll see where this goes. That's how you should be talking to taller girls. Yeah? Jace, you make my life better. Nah, you make your life better. I just give you advice on it. You got a degree in psychology. Not that it matters, rate your work. Just curious. No, I don't. Not a formal degree in psychology. I just know way better, way more than everyone that has a psychology degree. Clearly, by the way, I'm not bragging to, suck my own dick. My work speaks for itself. I have results, years of results to back it up. So, fuck a degree. I learned the hard way in the field. If men suffer in silence, then why are we always hearing about it? That's a good question, actually. But I don't think people are always hearing about it. I mean, it depends on what part of the internet you're on. That's a good question, though. I do see the occasional video pop up on my For You page of guys, wailing and crying about whatever suffering they're going through. I don't enjoy those videos personally. I don't really like whenever my For You page slips up and shows me some victim shit. That's what I call it, by the way, victim shit, because ain't nobody got time for that. Shit needs to get done, and it doesn't serve you to allow yourself to soak in ideas and emotions that take the power away from you. Oh, woe is me, life is hard. Like, it's only so long you can do that shit before you realize, hey, I gotta stop being a bitch. With that said, if you are on that side of the internet where you're always hearing about, how much men suffer, I think you should probably switch up your For You page or something, or the way you interact with the internet, because that just tells me that you're probably interacting too much with the part of the internet of men that are just okay with being victims and letting the world know how much of a victim they are. I don't fuck with that side of the internet. I probably should, because my work kind of is directed towards helping those men become more powerful. So I'm probably losing out on like a giant pool of clientele there, who knows, but I don't really care. Because if they were really on the path to becoming empowered men, they would find a way to find me. Not like they would search me out or anything, but the way the universe works, they would find a way to collide with me. It would just happen the same way you guys did. You know what I mean? You found me because you were ready for it. It was time. You probably wouldn't have been able to find me, a year ago if you weren't ready for it. Even though I've been here for more than a year. See what I'm saying? So it's just how it works. When the student is ready, the master will appear. Got to give those men time. But in the meantime, don't worry about what they have to say. A life is way too fun, dude. Life is awesome. Life is beautiful. It's a beautiful opportunity we have to really live this bitch out. So to be worried about all the things that are hard about it all the time, it's stupid. It's a waste of everybody's time. Do you think men all need to experience the challenge of marriage, even with the risk? I don't know about all men, you know, and I don't think marriage is even the most risky you can be in a relationship, honestly. It's quite a risk, don't get it twisted, but it's not as bad as it can get. It can get way worse than just marriage, if I'm being honest with you. So no, I don't think it's I don't think it's some kind of a rite of passage in any way. I don't think it's necessary at all. In fact, I probably wouldn't advise it for the majority of men. I think very few men should be married. There's very few men that really should be married and will be married successfully. The rest of y'all are playing a game that you're not meant to play, to be honest. All right? Even I myself, if I do get married, it'll purely be for the science of it. I'm not getting married because I think it's like the ultimate whatever. I would just do it because, okay, let me see if I can work my way out of a deficit with this particular girl. That's pretty much it. You know? Clean cut, by the way. Thank you. What's the aim? Aim to what? I have no idea what the context there is. Jace, best age to have kids. Any age. Like, there's the biological best age to have kids. There's a psychological best age to have kids. There's a social best age to have kids. And there's a spiritual best age to have kids. And these are all different, but also very different according to each person. Because we all prime in these different aspects at different times. Now, society will tell you should be, popping out kids from, your late 20s, early 30s, and blah, blah. Biology will actually tell you should be doing it a lot younger. And spiritually, you really shouldn't start even thinking about kids till like fucking 40. All right. So it's very different. There's different, I would say, let the kids happen when they will. And if you have to do it on purpose, then plan it for a time when you're not ready. You never want to be ready to have a kid I at least that's what I've been told, right? You never want to be the person that's like, I want everything to be perfect before I have a kid. Because usually the best time to have a kid is when you're not ready, when you're not expecting it. Or at least that's what I've been told. Let's see. That's if you invest in anything in life. Yes, exactly. I remember you said a girl has to do a massive sacrifice for you to live with you in the same house. Yes, example, giving all of her savings. Yes. To share the same space with you has to be a massive sacrifice on her part, like massive sacrifice. So absolutely. You have to treat everything about you as different degrees of sacrifice and compliance to, acquire. Your time should be treated with a certain level of respect, your energy, your presence, physical presence, virtual presence over the phone, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, absolutely. Ask for payment in accordance to the level of value you're offering. Let's see. I have attachment to game. What does that mean about me? Is this a healthy way of life? Nah. Because what if your ability to use game is taken away from you? Can't be attached to nothing. Did you hear about the John Anthony, Ross Jeffries fallout? No, I didn't. I haven't thought about either of those people in a while, to be honest. Shout out to Ross Jeffries, though. That's one of the pioneers in the game. What fallout? I mean, is John Anthony. Am I thinking about the right person? John Anthony lifestyle? He's crazy anyway. He's always having a fallout with someone. Which is, very weird because he's on YouTube. YouTube is not exactly the beef place. If this was TikTok, that's one thing. TikTok is beef central. But to be beefing with everybody on YouTube is crazy. And now he's beefing with Ross Jeffries. Why? Why would you... that's someone we should all have respect for in this industry. That's an OG. So one of the first people to actually incorporate neuro-linguistic programming into seduction. It's a very difficult thing to come up with. And he pulled it off. That deserves a lot of respect. The hell kind of beef can he possibly be having? And why is Ross Jeffries entertaining it? The OGs need to go back to acting like fucking OGs, goddammit. Jesus. Anyway. What about a healthy relationship where you don't play games? That doesn't exist. Every relationship is a transaction. Every transaction requires negotiation. Is that a chick saying that? Sounds like a chick. Shay Bly, it's probably a chick. You got a lipstick emoji after your name. You're probably a chick. Sound like a chick. Women need to stop coming into male spaces like this and acting like we're stupid enough to believe fairy tales like that. Like, oh, where games are not played. We're not, like, go on somewhere with that shit. We're smarter than that here. Can't you tell? At my workspace, I have an army against me. 2 girls that liked me, they hated each other, but now are friends. Interesting. A guy who was my replacement. On my side, I have myself and then a girl. Why do you have... These politics and beefs and work are only good if they advance you somehow. If the end goal of it isn't you get some kind of promotion, more pay, or more responsibility somehow, it's probably a waste of your time. Don't get involved. It's not a good idea to get with all that stuff, you know what I mean? Without competing other men, in what area should you mainly focus on? Anxiety, dealing with your levels of anxiety, dealing with your ability to take risks, and, you know, being okay with high levels of anxiety. Buddy, how many times are you gonna... I mean, you can go ahead, but damn. But yeah, it's where you'll beat other men the most of the time is your ability to deal with more anxiety than they can. Well, that's where every man fucks up, you know. They let the neediness get to them. They let the emotional attachment get to them. All that good stuff. Jace, I've got my IG fixed. What are the steps to talk to you? Yeah, just go talk to me on IG. I'll get back to you there as soon as I can. Skin's glowing right now. You may have to start selling skincare. That's funny. Oh yeah, thank you. Good lighting and moisturize. That's pretty much it. So to manage to get rid of the neediness, taking rejection personally, you question yourself, and solve the deep reasons why you think this way. Pretty much, you have to ask yourself, why is it you're needy to begin with? Neediness only comes from one place, and it's the feeling of a lack of completion. So the question is, why don't you feel complete? And more specifically, why is it that your lack of completeness in yourself, why do you believe that that can only be solved by the validation of women? It's important. You see, getting better with women is getting better with yourself. It's the ultimate self-improvement. I've always said that. Hey, what's going on, Casanova? Welcome. I need your mindset, bro. Since me and my last girl split, I haven't been the same, man. How do I reset? Sounds like you haven't properly mourned a relationship. I keep telling you guys, it's the first most important step. Once you get out of a relationship, right? Whether you wanted to or not. And, you know, sometimes it'll be in a way where you didn't want to, which is fair. You have to give yourself the time to mourn the loss of that relationship. Give yourself time. It's very important. Like, cry in the fetal position if you have to. Do something symbolic. Burn all the things that she got for you or something and throw the ashes in the river. Whatever you got to do. You know, it doesn't have to be that dramatic, but it works for women, so it must work for us too, to some degree. The point is, you have to make sure you give yourself the chance to mourn the death of that relationship, because that's why it hurts. It's something that was a part of you that's now gone. It feels like a small, tiny death. Mourn that death, you know. And only when you're done mourning that death and accepting that that death happened, can you move forward. Knowing that you'll never have that, what you had before back. It's gone forever. It's done. It's done. Never have it back. Let's see. What do you do? What to do when women want you to express your emotions, then call you sassy or use it against you? I can't ever blame the women whenever I hear stuff like this. It's like people, because men are like, oh, the women, they're giving mixed signals. No, you're just an idiot. You know, we're grown. Come on, it's them in 2025 at this point. We can't be grown men walking around acting like women don't lie to men. Right? Like, we should know by now that women deceive men when it comes to this. Their job is to test your strength. Your emotional psychological strength, right? If you can fall for a trick that simple, you don't deserve to lead any women. You don't deserve them. You see, You don't. You should have more emotional discipline. That like you're a woman's job, and I keep saying this. I'm gonna say this till I'm red in the face, right? Which will take a lot out of me because I'm black. But a woman's job in your life is to trip you up. That's how they make you stronger. Is to put traps in front of you and then watch you and see if you have the ability to bulldoze your way through them and survive. They make you stronger by surviving the bullshit they put you through. And a part of that is deceiving you. A part of that is telling you to do something you fucking shouldn't do with the promise of some kind of reward in the back of your mind. Do this and I promise good things will happen. And you fall for it like an idiot. And then you get surprised when bad things happen. Just be emotionally vulnerable. When has that ever worked? Come on. Gotta have a little more discipline than that. You have to have more discipline. You have to have more discipline. You cannot fall for the smallest, simplest tricks. It's 2025. All right? We're getting to the point now in the future where that gap between men who get it and men who don't is getting so wide. Right? And there's just no excuse anymore. If you're a man who doesn't get it, you will be dead in the water a couple of years from now. Like, you won't even exist to women at all. So you got to get used to these very, very tiny, very not complex tests and pass them very easily. Like, come on. These are tiny little things. Let's see. I've been live for, 30 minutes now? How you doing, Fish Army? Last call was fire, by the way. Thank you. For those of you that don't know, he's talking about my private group call. We have a bi-weekly group call in my private community. By the way, that's up on the group by now, right? I hope it is. Yo, Jace, where is Ryu? Don't know. I referred to Fish Army for that. He hasn't been here for a while. I don't know. I figured he's busy with something. It's the Christmas season or whatever. I have no idea, but I hope he's okay. Let's see. The coworker left her boyfriend. She said she was cold, said it, and bye. Now she has 3 days to leave the apartment, huh? What are we talking about? You said if Kendrick continues to pander to the people, he will fall off harder than Drake. Can you expand on that? Nothing to expand on. It's exactly what I said. You got everything right. Kendrick is making the grave mistake of trying to appease the lowest common denominator, right? The lowest vibrational people on earth. The people who move like NPCs with nothing but their emotions and their instincts without any actual foresight or forethought. If you say things to rile those people up, they'll have the energy to, put you on a pedestal. And that'll feel good temporarily. But eventually those people themselves, because of their cannibalistic nature, will surround you like piranhas and eat you alive. Because, again, they're in survival. That's what they do. They're moving off of instinct. And their instinct tells them someone is on the pedestal. Put your attention on them, time to eat. We're still in contact, texting almost daily. Don't worry, he's fine. We're going to have a call next day. Okay, cool. That's good. That's very good. I'm just happy he's okay. That's all I really care about. Let's see. I said that's how it's done. Cold movement. Oh, okay. How would you explain a woman of God that you want or have multiple women? Explain a woman of God that you want? Huh? Is there a word missing in that question? Is it like explain to a woman of God that you want or have multiple women? You'd say that exactly that same way. Like, are you trying to ask me how to convince them to join your harem? You don't have to. It's not necessary. There's so many women out there. It's not really... Like, if you have to drag a bitch along, it's not worth it. Just get the ones that are okay with it. I mean, not okay with it, but, understand the value of just going along with your program. You feel me? If you see a girl you're talking to giving her number to someone in front of you, what do you do? Oh, you make jokes about it. Literally. It's not your girlfriend, so you can't call what she did disrespectful. She's just exercising her options. They're allowed to do that. But don't take it personal. If anything, use that as an opportunity to make jokes and go up to the guy or while he's talking his game and be like, hey, listen, let me check the number just to make sure it's the real one, because she has a bad habit of giving people her fake number. Okay, yeah, that's the real one. You got it, my G. Give him a handshake, dap it up, keep it pushing. Make jokes. It's very important that you're jovial like that, especially when it comes to stuff like that. You don't want to be the fucking jealous, protective guy, especially that early, you know? Let's see. Did I finish answering this question? Woman of God, blah blah. Yeah, just don't try to convince any woman. That's a waste of your time. He was doing some crazy stuff. Can't talk about it. Ooh, was he now? My curiosity is piqued. Tell him to hit me up on Instagram. Let's talk there. It's been a while. Tell him to hit me up. We'll talk. We'll have a little call, me and him. What's he been up to? What's he been doing? Might exchange stories about the crazy stuff we've been doing. Let's see. There we go. I gotta scroll back down. She was yeah the way. We're similar in behavioral code. What are we talking about? Why do women think men have group leaders? Because we do. Because we do. They're very correct about that assessment. And I don't know why men, well, I know why, right? I know why men went out of the way to create this entire internet campaign to make women believe there's no group leaders. There's group leaders. We all know this. If I say who's the group leader of AMP, you know who to say. If I say who's the group leader of RDC World, you know who to say. All right? There's group leaders. There's group leaders. Okay, well, I went to jealous mode, but now I know. Oh, okay, fair enough. That's fine. I'll teach you something in the next call we have together to, like, combat that. I'll teach you something. Because even if you go jealous mode, there's a way to correct it. But also, there's a way to do jealousy without looking jealous. I'll teach you that. Anyway, what was I just talking about? Yeah, group leaders. We have group leaders. Group leaders exist. If you're being honest with yourself, you know who the group leader of your group is. You know who the authority you all refer to is. Again, no one chooses the group leader and is like, oh, my gracious king. That's not, no one treats the group leader like that. But you know the one person in the group where if all of you gathered to hang out, if that person wasn't there, it just wouldn't feel the same. You know who that person is. You know who that person is. You know he's the one that comes up with all the good ideas. You know that nothing really moves without that person. There's no motion without that person giving their say-so or their go-ahead. The group leader is a real thing. It has to be a real thing. There's always one person in the group that gives and offers and represents more value than everybody else. So, of course, they're going to be the leader. Duh. And hopefully he's a benevolent leader that looks out for his people. You know. What if you're chosen to be the group leader, but you get tired of having to inspire your friends? Oh, dude, trust me, the burnout from group leading is a real thing. Being the guy that has to take responsibility for your friends' morale is very fucking exhausting. I feel that in my soul. But that's what comes with it, man. That's what comes with it. They need, the troops need a boost in their morale. They need a Captain Irwin to say, my soldiers do not buckle. My soldiers scream out. My soldiers rage. Like, you need to be that guy. They need you to be that guy. They can't do it themselves. That's why they have you. So, give yourself, I mean, there's nothing wrong with isolating yourself from the group. If anything, give yourself a break from the group. That does nothing but increase your value in the group's eyes, right? It's one of the laws of power. Use absence to increase your value. So there's nothing wrong with taking a break from the group, having them try to figure out how to lead themselves without you. And then when you come back, they have even more appreciation for you, and it leaves more of an impact in them, right? Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Let's see. No wasting time, friends, where we don't have to be ourselves, even if that means being alone. Oh, yeah, good. I like that. Don't waste time with the whole friendship thing if you knew from the jump that, you know, you were getting to a certain place. Jace, her birthday is tomorrow. I want to shake her confidence and her place in my life. Any ideas of what to do? Ignore her for the whole day. Duh. It's like the obvious move, though. Low-key is kind of predictable. But yeah, that's the move. Here's how you want to do it. You want to ignore her for the whole day, maybe even the whole week, and then show up with like a happy belated birthday present, and just be like, it was kind of cruel to leave you alone, but I was genuinely pissed at you, so there's no way I would have talked to you on your birthdays. But here, goofy bitch, and then give her something nice, something that shows like you put a lot of effort and thought into it, and boom, tension, because that creates a lot of confusion, right? It's like, I hate him for not talking to me on my birthday, but god damn it, this present is nice and it shows he was thinking about me. They don't know what to do. They get confused. Tension goes up. Attraction is spiked. Pussy gets moist. You fuck. Make-up sex. It's a tale all the time. So yeah, go on with that plan. You got this. But she, oh no, I already read that one. How do you apply the principle of duality in life or game? You don't have to apply it. It already exists. You don't have to apply the principle of duality with every day that passes. There's a day and there's a night. There's a morning and there's an evening. Sun and moon. North Pole, South Pole. Up, down, left, right. Like, you don't apply it. You just understand it. If anything, the question should be, how do I align myself better with the law of duality? And the idea behind that is simply acknowledging it and understanding that one thing is too much, and you have to always have the balancing to everything. Like, you have to be okay with the ebb and flow of life, the ups and downs, the seasons, and plan accordingly. Don't be surprised by the seasons, That's really what it comes down to, understanding the duality in everything. There's an uptrend, there's a downtrend, there's a backwards, there's a forward, there's this and there's that. So it's all good. Just understanding that you have to live in accordance to that. Now let's see. How to deal with death grip syndrome. Do I know what that is? What is death grip syndrome? I don't know what that is. I've never heard of that. Death grip syndrome. Never heard of it. Just by the sound of it, are you talking about like the fear of death? Right? Because I want to make sure, though, before I answer that question. Let me know what death grip syndrome is. Some white women think dating them is reparations and are offered when you're not interested. And are offended when you're not interested. I don't know what your beef with white women is, man. Figure that one out on your own. My type is bad bitches. Right? Some of them just happen to be white, but that's my actual type. I don't know what that's about. I don't know. We were not even talking about white women just now, Marcus. Don't know why you have to get that off your chest. But God bless you, brother. I love you. I think he means gripping your snake. Oh, is that it? Fapping? We're not calling it fapping anymore. Oh, sorry, I forget. So it went from choking the chicken to tugging the tail to fapping, and now it's gooning, I believe, right? And apparently now it's death grip. Okay. How to deal with that? Get real pussy. That's the real solution. Fuck what everyone else is telling you. Get real pussy. Replace one addiction with the other. Okay, maybe not literally, but the energy is gonna go somewhere anyway. This idea that you should just go a long period of time without ejaculating at all is fucking false anyway. It's not in alignment with how your biology works. One way or the other, that evil is gonna get out, and that's by design. It's a good thing. It's healthy. It's just, if you don't want to use the internet and corn to do it, cool. Get real girls to do it. It's even better that way, honestly. It's way more enjoyable. Something real about it, too. No shit. So this girl I met got a FWB, friends with benefits. She rarely meets. I know it's existing to her the way she talks about. What? Exciting? Is that what you mean? How should I go about getting or triggering attraction with her? And also, I know he's intimidated by me. Should I use that to make him overinvest in her? You're trying to control factors that you can't control. She has friends with benefits. You're just the guy that wants her. Have you even fucked this girl? Let's start with that. Like, if you haven't been inside this girl and she has a whole friends with benefits, that means he's been in there multiple times. He's way further ahead than you are. You got to get in the game. You're not even playing the same game yet if you haven't actually gotten down and dirty with this girl. That's one. Two, I wouldn't worry about the other guy. If the other guy was so great, you wouldn't be having the chance you have now, would you? See, so he's the friends with benefit, not the boyfriend. I ain't worried about him. He's not that important even to her, right? So I would just focus on you playing your game correctly and moving forward. Don't worry about him. He's just there to make you look better. I can't go in the gym. I'm doing push-ups at home. Can't use that excuse. Huh? What are we talking about the gym? How do you get over approach anxiety? You approach to the point where you don't... Like, the anxiety itself never goes away, I don't think. But you get used to it and get desensitized to it so that it doesn't paralyze you. The issue isn't the anxiety itself. It's the fact that you're allowing it to paralyze you. You just have to train yourself to not be paralyzed by it. Till this day, whenever I see a beautiful girl, I still get that in my heart, right? Not because I'm like, oh, fuck, this is a bad thing. No, in fact, it's mostly excitement. Right? I don't even know if I should be saying this on. Okay, I'm not gonna say that on the internet before TikTok takes me down. But let's just say I get very excited whenever I see a girl I find attractive, as I should, as every healthy young man should. And yeah, I feel that before I approach. I feel that while I'm approaching. I feel that after the approach is done and I got the number and whatever, and I'm about to meet her again later. I still get excited by women, and you definitely should. You definitely should. You just learn not to allow that excitement to overwhelm you. And that's the point. That's where the overexposure therapy comes in. Yeah, family? You have grown so much since watching you from day one. Much props on me. Thank you. I appreciate that. That is the point, right? As men, is that we grow. Sometimes I do that, to be honest. Not to sound conceited, but I will scroll all the way down to the bottom of my TikTok page to go compare my videos and stuff. That version of Jason was quite an interesting guy, man. Quite the way I viewed life at the time and everything. I mean, I still have all the same beliefs, core beliefs. A lot of the external sub-beliefs have changed over time, obviously. And a few core beliefs have changed tremendously, too. But, yeah, that was a very different Jason. Shout out to him, though. Without him, I wouldn't be here, so thank you. Got to be grateful to your past you for giving you opportunities today, right? Let's see. Jace steps YouTube videos to become like you or to think like you. I literally put those out all the time. That's what the self-belief course is for. By the way, self-belief 2.0 coming out soon. 2.0 dropping soon, baby. Want to be a master at 23? You're asking for a lot of pain. All right, you're 21, want to be a master at 23. It's possible, but you're asking to dedicate yourself to this and nothing but this for every single waking moment of the next 2 years. I don't know if you're willing to do that, you know. I wasn't. It's just why it didn't take me 2 years. It took me 7 to really work at advancement, you know. What is the most important change that happened? In those 2 years, in those 3 years I've been on TikTok, what is the most important change that happened? What would I call the most important one? I learned not to judge the audience. I learned not to put my own preconceived notion on people before I put out the message. Because I realized that doing that was fundamentally changing the way I wanted the message to come out. Does that make sense? So I began to really fall in love with the idea of having an audience as opposed to just numbers on the screen. And I like to think that my actions have reflected that. Even when I do these lives, I'm sure you can tell, I actually give a fuck. Which is why I cut deeper than I should. And I say things that you probably don't want to hear, but you have to. Because I give a fuck. Not that I didn't before, but I was too scared to before. You see, I was very comfortable just touching on the surface level things, and the ego gets in the way from time to time. You show off your intelligence, but now it's a lot deeper in meaning than just surface level shit. I would say that's I really learned to love people, if that makes sense. Yeah, I did not like that fight. I'm gonna retire George St. Pierre. That's that was when he retired the first time, right? Let's see. A spiritual fight, gun, everything. Like, learn everything, my friend. Yo, I haven't been able to do the thing that you told me in school call yet, about the women in there can't say the word because of sense. All right, I remember that. I can do it in the actual mall, maybe, since the mall and Macy's are connected. Sure. You see how you're hesitating, though? Because there's a part of you that thinks it's a big deal, but it really isn't. When you do it the first few times and you see the reaction you get, you yourself will be surprised. That's going to be one of the major blinds that gets removed from your eyes. Is when you go through that process and realize it's not even as big a deal as I thought it would be. You know what I mean? By the way, any chance we can put some wishes for the self-belief course? Oh, for sure. I was actually going to ask you guys for Immigrant Game. We'll talk about that in the group later. But when Immigrant Game drops, I need you guys' input. Because right now, from what I have it set to, it's pretty much just for like African immigrants. But I know I have a lot of, friends in South America, Europe, and South Asia especially. So I want you guys' input. Because, the group, we're multicultural. We're all well represented in there. I want to know what you guys think I should start talking about from that point of view. Like, when you're an immigrant in a different country, what's the experience like for you? And we're going to have a lot of similarities, obviously. But I want to know what else I might be missing. So I can add that in there for sure. But yeah, any suggestions for self-belief? What y'all want to know? What questions have you in your mind that you want me to answer? Well, we now know Jace's favorite, the mods. Essentially, yeah. That's why you're mods, duh. I have favorites. I don't lie about it. Let's see. I can do it in the actual. Already read that one. Do you know the Dean? Oh yeah, Steve the Dean Williams. Shout out to him. He's one of the real ones for sure. I know who the Dean is for sure. Shout out to Steve the Dean Williams. Shout out to Mr. Lucario. Shout out to Miles Cunningham. Shout out to all those guys. They're dope. Any books to help deal with a large amount of anxiety? There's a book I read once. Hold on. See, I'm terrible with names. There's a book I read once about the root cause of anxiety. Anxiety as a defense mechanism, I believe it was called. I gotta go. Oh, it's not in this phone. Fuck. I keep forgetting my Audible account isn't here. It's in this one, and I can't, But yeah, go and Google. It was either anxiety as a defense mechanism or root cause of anxiety, something like that. It's a great book for understanding a unique way and perspective of looking at anxiety and how it actually functions. Because that book explains anxiety less as a mental burden and more as a warning system of sorts, which is what it is. Does that make sense? It's a way to locate different stress points in your life, psychologically speaking. The anxiety is just like a truth serum of sorts. The rest of y'all can leave the lie if you're slightly less important. Shut up. They're not less important. I just don't know them like that yet. What up, broski? How you doing, man? If it's your girl, you're talking. I already read that one. I would say beliefs that not only push your king side, but also your benevolent side. I actually have that already. It's already in there in Self-Belief 2.0. That's like the balancing of strength and sensitivity, understanding how to balance both without compromising yourself. Absolutely. It's already in there. Let's see. Since I started doing positive affirmations and self-belief, I'm feeling more anxious. Is it because of the new standard my mind knows it has to qualify for? Well, that's how your mind is interpreting it. That's why you're feeling anxious. Instead of you taking in the information and understanding that you are enough right now, for whatever reason, you decided to assume that you're not enough and there's a standard you have to meet that you haven't met yet. That gap between where you are now and where you want to be is causing that anxiety. As opposed to just understand, you're not trying to get somewhere. You're already there. Really understand what this journey is. The self-belief and self-improvement is not about trying to be something or get somewhere. It's understanding you're already there and putting in the work right now to affirm your faith. The work is what affirms the faith. The work is not to get there. The work is the evidence that you are there. If you weren't there, you wouldn't be willing to put in that work. It's a very different mindset, but it's an important one. It's an important way to look at it. I would say how to maintain self-belief even through repeated failure. Exactly. Think about that. Repeated failure. So what's the failure there to do? It's to help you correct the work so that you know how to put the work in better, in the correct way with the correct precision and focus. The reason you think the failure is a bad thing is because you're interpreting it as a bad thing. You're seeing the failure as evidence that you are not where you think you're supposed to be, or you're not on the right path to where you want to go. That's why you think it's a bad thing. In reality, all the work is there to do is to correct your behavior and to correct the way you approach the work that you have to do. That's all it is, right? It's like fighting. If you lose a fight, you don't beat yourself up and say, oh no, I'm a terrible fighter. You go, okay, I did something incorrectly in that fight. I zigged when I should have zagged. I ducked when I should have weaved. I tried to shoot a jab when I should have gone for the uppercut, right? That's the whole point to failure. Failure is you did something here incorrectly, change that. Exactly. So failure is just a feedback mechanism. Perfect. Exactly. That's all it is. It's a feedback mechanism to let you know you are who you say you are, but this little thing you're doing here is not in alignment with who you actually are. That's why this disappointment is happening. So correct that so that the disappointment doesn't happen again. At least not in that exact same way. See? And put that same mindset in anything you want to learn in the world. Like, you always assume you're already there. You're already that amazing individual. You're already that intelligent individual. You're already that master instrumentalist. You're already that highly skilled salesman. You're already that person. The work is just the faith you have to put in to affirm that you are that person. And so if you fail while you're doing that work somehow, all that is the universe telling you, hey, you're actually that person, but if you are that person, you can't be doing that thing because a person of your caliber shouldn't be doing that. I'll maybe add that to self-belief so we don't forget. I will. Absolutely. And I know exactly where to add it to. I'm going to slide it in there. It wouldn't even look like I added it. It would just slide in there. Because I'm using slides, by the way, for this self-belief. It's going to be slides and me talking in the background. So I'm going to just slide that bitch in there. You won't even notice. But yeah, this is something very important to understand. You're already that person. There's nothing wrong with you. You're already that person. If anything, you're just trying to remove the bad habits that you've learned that have told you that you're not that person. Right? That's why you experience failure. Failure is failure is the result of the bad habits of you acting like you're not that person. If you claim to be, like, for instance, an amazing world-class pianist, like that's your thing, you play the piano. Even if you don't know how to fucking read music, there's nothing wrong with assuming you're already that person. All you're doing from that point, all the work you're putting in to learn this, learn that, do this, do that, isn't really you learning. It's you getting out of your own way. It's you learning how to remove the bad habits that have forced you to not see yourself as the greatest pianist ever. Does that make sense? You're unpeeling. You're not building. You're unpeeling. Or peeling, rather. You're peeling away at layers that are hiding what you really affirm to be. That's what the work is for. So when you look at it like that, if you do play the piano and you hit the wrong note, you're not hitting the wrong note because you're bad at piano. You're hitting the wrong note because you're acting in direct opposite of how you are in reality. That missed note is not in alignment with what you really are, a world-class pianist. That's why that note sounds off, because it's not a part of you. That's not who you are. That doesn't represent who you are. So get back to playing that shit and not hitting the wrong notes. You see? That's how you should see it. And it's in everything you do in life, man. It's in everything you do in life. You assume you already are that. And just peel away all the things blocking you from being that. Right? The fun part is, when it starts physically manifesting. And by the way, that's another aspect to it, is we think we're not that because we have no physical evidence for it. When in reality, the affirmation precedes the evidence. If you want to see the evidence, you have to first believe it to be true. Because our perception of reality controls our reality. That's how this is the game we're playing. The game we're playing is, quite literally, see it to believe it. Not believe it to see it. Right? I said that wrong, didn't I? Believe it to see it, not see it to believe it. Happy I caught myself there. But yeah, that's the game we're playing. You have to see it in your mind's eye before you ever see it physically. And you have to know it's real even before you see the physical manifestation of it. All right? Very important. Very important. Since I started doing positive, I already read that one. That's the one that even sparked this conversation. We're still in contact testing every day. Oh yeah, tell Ryu to hit me up. Braille information is priceless. I'm aware. It's what you do with it that really makes it that much more invaluable. So please use the information. I'm talking my ass off, and I'm just talking my ass off until you use the information. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Well, I already read that one. I was starting to figure this shit out, but you sped up my progress. I'm happy to help. Hard to say the group leader of AMP could be Duke, Kai, Agent. Really? Let's ask that question. Who is the group leader of AMP? Who's the group leader of AMP? It's actually very obvious. Who is the group leader of AMP? And highlight the comments. Kai's the group leader. He's the most popular, but he's not the group leader. He's not the authority the other members look up to. He's the most popular by far, but he's not the group leader. No. Who's the group leader of AMP? This is a fun one for me because the group leader is a hidden one, right? It's not like RDC where we all know it's Mark, right? Mark is the group leader of RDC. Who's the group leader of AMP? I'm gonna wait here patiently and watch all the comments get highlighted. Who said Phantom? Ding, 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 ding. It's Phantom. It's Phantom. Phantom is group leader. And it's very obvious, too, when you just start looking at it from a pure, primal, animalistic point of view. Phantom is the only member that can get away with doing anything he wants in that group. Do you realize that? Do you understand that that's where the whole Phantom tax thing came from? It's a joke that went viral, the Phantom tax, whatever. But it's a joke that came about because of the dynamic of that group. Phantom taxes these niggas. They literally pay homage and sacrifice to Phantom. It don't get more leadership than that, bro. it don't get better than that. But then you see the way Phantom interacts with the group and you realize why. It becomes obvious why they see Phantom as the leader. Because Phantom is the most benevolent king. Phantom is a good fucking dude, man. He's the kind of guy you want as a friend. Anybody will want as a friend. Anybody. He's the most genuine motherfucker. They all pay homage to him. Even Kai Cenat will tell you he's the whole reason, Phantom is the whole reason Kai's in AMP. Phantom is the mover and the shaker in that group. He's the most important member. God forbid, and I'm not putting this out in the universe, I'm just saying hypothetically, God forbid, Phantom passes away right now. AMP is done. Any other member can go, and it'll hurt, obviously. It'll be bad. But AMP will still be together. But if Phantom goes, AMP's done. It's done. It's over with. So yeah. And I like that about that group, by the way. That's why I asked you guys that question. The group leader isn't always obvious in the front, like a Mark in RDC world, right? It's not always the nigga in front. Sometimes he leads from the back. Phantom is a lead from the back type of nigga, right? He lets Kai get the shine. You're the most important guy in the group. You're the face of the group. He lets Duke be the pretty boy in the group. Agent, you're the brains, right? Do the calculations, right? What's the other guy's name? Chris and the other one. Yeah, you guys, you do all the hard, gritty shit, the editing, all that stuff in the background. I'm just the guy running around supervising. But that's what he does, though. Do you realize that that's what he does? A big part of his streams is just supervising these other niggas. Have you not noticed that? Come on now. Of course he's the group leader. And he deserves to be. He's a good dude. There's a reason they all look up to him. I remember when that happened last year, when Agent tried to challenge him for group leader. That was what was happening, by the way. People didn't even notice that. He and Agent had like a little tissy fit. I don't know what it was over. I think it was like when they were doing their little 4th of July, blowing up the house with fireworks and shit. And Agent has always... by the way, Agent is the fucking Judas of that group. All right? Don't get it twisted. He's the Judas. Because of his intelligence, right? The problem with being the smartest guy in the crew and not being the leader is that you think you deserve to be the leader because you know the most. That's Agent's problem. Agent, deep down, resents Phantom because Phantom is in the spot he thinks he deserves, right? So you'll always see the clashing happen between the two of them. It'll never end. And Phantom's job will always be the same when it comes to Agent. Be the big gorilla, sit that nigga back down, put him back in his place. And there's always one in every group, by the way. It's not like, there's always that one person in the group that thinks it's their spot, that they should be the one leading. And the leader's job is to always remind them, no, it shouldn't be you. I don't even want this responsibility. This shit is hard. You cannot handle the situation. You can't handle this shit. Agent can't be the fucking leader. We all know this. Agent ain't that nigga. He's smart, very smart. He's just not, no. He should not be the one in front of AMP. Hell no. He's not a visionary. That's not his role. He's the brains. He's the nerd. Stay in the fucking cubicle, click on them computer keyboards and shit, come up with some cool shit that way. Let Phantom take the group in the direction it needs to go. That's Phantom's job. That's the leader. That's the visionary. Right? But until then, either they break up or Agent eventually leaves, because he will, they're going to keep clashing. It's always going to happen. But yeah, that's a very fun little case study I like to touch on. It's respectful and unanimous type shit. What if you're... Oh yeah, I read that one. Thought you was Marvin from Raising Kanan. I haven't seen Raising Kanan. Does Marvin happen to have Nigerian ancestry? If so, then it probably makes sense why we look alike. I feel like using the group as a way to practice my storytelling is a good way to measure progress. Absolutely. Absolutely. A Nigerian boarding school is a good example. Everybody knows who the leader in each set is. Yes, there's always the violent ones and the boys that keep the peace in the set. And then you need both. You can't have a violent crew. Everybody's going to the principal's office if you have nothing but violence in your crew. You also can't have nothing but a peaceful crew because they get bullied by the violent crew. You need a balance. Listen, let me set you up with a good group for you, just so you know how groups should be set up. You need a ladies' man in the group. The whole one of the major reasons groups even get together is because their shared love of females. Duh. You need a ladies man. You need a brains, someone that's very smart that just knows a lot of shit. You need the hype man. He's Mr. Support you in your lowest time, right? You need that motherfucker. You need the fighter. This is the guy that he's so fucking aggressive. You need to go the extra mile to make sure he doesn't get into a fight. But he's necessary. He's a rabid fucking bulldog. And he's a pain in the ass. But he's fucking necessary. Because he's the one that makes sure no one in the groups gets taken advantage of. He's the one that'll make sure you get the extra packet of ketchup at the restaurant that you asked for that the waitress forgot. Very important member. Pain in the fucking ass. He'll probably be the one that gets the most isolated from the group. Right? Because he'll stay butting heads with everybody in the group. He's probably also a prankster, which doesn't make it any better. But he's very fucking necessary. There's a guy like that in my group, and everyone's like, we should get him. No, leave him there. He's necessary. He's Russian, too, which is funny. Because you expect the Russian to be that guy. Who else you need? You can say a money guy, but usually it's the smart guy. Money guy, smart guy, usually interchangeable. But even then, you kind of need the visionary, that's the leader himself, to like know what plan you're going to execute and how well you're going to execute it, right? Oh, you also need a quiet guy. You need a guy that doesn't say much and it's just like reserved to himself. That guy is important because you need his voice in very important times. The thing about people that are quiet most of the time is that when they do speak, everyone listens. You can use that to your advantage. I'm talking to the group leaders now. If you need something to be communicated across to the rest of the group that for whatever reason you can't do yourself, you don't have the position for that morale, get the quiet guy to say it. It'll work even better. You have very few chances to do it though. Like, you got to think about using the quiet guy's voice like a charge move in a game, right? There's a reload time. There's a cooldown time. So you can only use it so often or else you destroy the mystique around it. But when you do use it, it's going to be a lot of impact. You feel me? So yeah, all these guys are very important. Very importante. Let's see. Our first impression is real. If so, how do you move forward from the embarrassment and get her? Beating the beat. First impressions are real, but they're not as important as we think they are. Like, first impressions change very quickly whenever new information is divulged about the person. Right? That's the point. Like, if the information is jarring enough, it'll change the way, you view them for the rest of your life. Take what just happened with, like, the Drake-Kendrick beef. I don't care how well J. Cole raps. For the rest of his career, we'll always remember him as the guy that backed out of the beef. That matters. That matters. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah. You know how you said obsession or attachment with anything is negative. How do you get good without obsession? For example, wanting to learn game. Oh, no. I didn't say obsession is bad. I said attachment is bad. Obsession is great. Obsession is how you get good. Absolutely. Obsession, it just means obsession is maniacal levels of focus, right? That's all obsession is. It's laser-like focus with a lot of passion and energy behind it. Nothing wrong with that. The attachment is the issue. When you can't let go when it's necessary, that's when you're getting fucked up. Right? So be obsessed. Just don't be attached. How you doing, G? Hopefully all's well. All's well indeed. Yes. Let's see. Why are we like this? Indeed. Facts. The people in the UK made a negative stereotype for using dating apps. Should we still use them? Absolutely. Every 3 years or so, there's a cycle there. Every 3 years or so, people start making fun of dating apps. And then guess what happens? Guys like me go, oh, everyone's making fun of it. That means more opportunity for me. I get on dating apps, reel them in, and then slowly everyone gets back into dating apps when it's more acceptable, and then it becomes too saturated, and you kind of leave it alone, and then give it another 3 years, and people go, oh, but dating apps are weird. Then you go back into it. Like, you want to do the exact opposite of what everyone else is doing. That's where the win is. It's like the stock market. You want to sell when everyone is buying. You want to buy when everyone is selling. That's exactly how it works. with dating. It's a very similar in terms of behavior when it comes to these two different marketplaces, the actual marketplace and the dating marketplace. You feel me? I get pussy, but I goon so much I last too long. That's a great problem to have, by the way. Do you really want to chase her? No. Point taken. Practice makes perfect. Yes. What to do when your girl asks you to unfollow every girl to prove your commitment? Why are you allowing her to trap you in the corner where you have to prove your commitment? Let's start with that. How did she? Because you're telling us about you're in check right now. It's like playing chess, right? You're under check. Let's discuss 8 moves before that point, when she was still cornering your king, when she was working up the strategy to corner your king. How did you get to the point where she thought she would? I can't imagine a girl I'm talking to have the audacity to ask me for something like that. But that's because I would never carry myself in the way that makes them believe they can ask me for something like that. Every girl in my life isn't trying to get me to show my loyalty to them. They're trying to show me their loyalty. So you've missed something somewhere. You've made a mistake with the framing. She's worried about the wrong thing here. So you have to correct your behavior. You have to let her know, like, listen, I don't know why you think you're so important to me that I would be willing to make any change at all, girl or otherwise, to show you my level of commitment to you, but that's not what's going on here. I don't even know you like that. Chill out. Relax. All right, we'll see if we get to that point. But for now, let me see what you're about. Flip that shit immediately. I was like that as well, and then I realized that women are just, well, women. I like the fact that you said it like that, because that's true. What if she's sometimes bringing up her boyfriend but allows you to get a little intimate? What do you do about that? When you say a little intimate, are you like straight fucking this girl, or she just letting you grab a titty from time to time? Because if that's the case, she's just using you for attention. You know, she's just using you for attention, for the attention she's not getting from her boyfriend. Unless you're fucking this girl, this is a useless, situation. You have a little intimate. What does that even mean, a little intimate? Are you just putting the tip in? I have never once heard anyone just put the tip in, like, honest to God, put the tip in. I thought we all collectively just lied about doing that. Just a tip, and just, Who's ever actually put this just a tip in? If you're in here, raise your hand. How did you become a scientist in this? It works, but how did you come to the making of this product? Well, I kind of accidentally ran into it back when I was, I think, 17, 18. And I got so obsessed with it. Like I said, you get good at everything with obsession. And I was already studying all things like persuasion, NLP, and mentalism, and sales, and stuff like that. So finding out you could use it to get girls, my horny brain at the time, I was just like, fuck yeah, focus on this. What's that? Mentalism, conversational hypnosis? Yeah, whatever. Bitches. So I literally just went balls. And I liked it in particular because I could practice it more. Like, it's very hard to get subjects for hypnosis classes. But talking to girls, those are outside right now. You just walk outside and go talk to girls. So I was obsessed with how it works, how it all works. Just put the tip in and see how it feels. That's funny. I was obsessed with how it all works. This is a part of myself I don't even talk about enough, but I was actually on my way to, like, creating myself into the next Ben Carson. Believe it or not, my hero when I was growing up was Ben Carson. I wanted to be a neurosurgeon. But the older I grew and the more I understood different aspects of the world and science and human behavior, I realized I'm not really interested in the brain like I thought I was. I'm interested in what the brain creates, the decision making, right? So my focus went from the actual brain organ to the mind. And then going and studying the mind, that opens up a whole new world for me. So mentalism, neurolinguistic programming, hypnosis, conversational hypnosis. And I just gobbled all that up relentlessly. But then somewhere along the way, pickup and seduction. And it was like, oh, really? Just persuasion, but with getting girls? I'm a horny teenager. Perfect. Boom. and I went crazy. But about 3-4 years into it, I realized I'm like really fucking good at this, aren't I? And I'm comparing and contrasting. Like, I knew I was in a position to start teaching people what I know when I realized that I was essentially having the exact same experiences as the people I looked up to. So they would say, oh, this, that happened, this. They would be talking in like a giant crowd. The crowd would go wild. And I'm like, that's impressive to you? That's like, that happened to me last Tuesday. And it was like, oh shit, I don't know how it accidentally happened or how this happened, but I guess I have a unique way of looking at this whole thing, and it's gotten me a lot of results very quickly. So I started talking about it on my Snapchat, and I should start just posting all those videos. I have a lot of videos from back in the day, 2017, 2018, 2019, just talking about game. And I'm gonna just start posting those. Those are fun. Those are so fun. Back in the day, you see me in my little goatee. I had a goatee back then. I didn't have a full beard, and yeah, that was so fun. That was so fun. And eventually, one thing led to another. TikTok happens, and boom, here we are. So yeah, this is very fun for me. I'm blessed to be able to do this. It's very fulfilling. I already read that one. What is the most important change? I already read that one too. How do you feel about dating someone with kids going through it right now? I don't think it's necessary, honestly. If I'm going to date a woman with children, it's got to be like a badge on. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not dating just anybody with kids. Because I don't have to date anyone with kids. Does that make sense? That sounds arrogant, doesn't it? Good. It should, because that's the truth. I don't have to date anyone with kids. It's really not necessary for me. If I'm going to date a woman with kids, she better be adding some kind of tremendous value to my life. Massive, tremendous value to my life. Otherwise, it's just not worth it for me. So that's how I feel about it. With that said, though, I don't think that means you shouldn't date women with kids. Like, absolutely. If in fact, I know guys that's like their preference for whatever reason. They don't have kids themselves, but in their own unique experience, women with kids have some kind of unique value that they like. I'm not here to judge. If that's what you want, do what you gotta do. Just make sure she's a bad motherfucker. That's my only thing. Do not date a woman with kids and have her be below a fucking 8. No. Because that's not a preference at that point. That's just a low self-esteem. You don't gotta have that. Do you give advice to women? From time to time, yeah. Jason. Looking well. Thank you. By the way, any chance we can put some wishes? I already read that one. I learned the approach, but I was always uneducated in maintaining progress with the woman. Thank you. No problem, man. At least now you know what the other parts are after the approach. How do I shake her confidence at her birthday tomorrow and her position in my life? I already read that one. Oh, your internet was bugging. So, okay, I'll repeat it. What I said was literally go a week without talking to her and then show up and give her a massive, amazing present that's very well thought out and very personal and intimate to her. Because it'll confuse her. It'll be like, damn, I hate this guy for not talking to me throughout my birthday week, but he has shown up with this present, which means he was thinking about me. I appreciate it. It'll be confusing for her. It'll increase the tension. The attraction will go up. Pussy will get wet. You'll fucking have make-up sex. And then you'll go from there. Let's see. I've been trying to be a mod since a year ago. I gave up. That's true though, Onyx. I'll give you a fucking mod. Why not? Right now. In fact, here you go. You've been a loyal listener. Add moderator. There we go. You are now a mod, Onyx. Congratulations. Can you give examples of men doing hard things? Of men doing hard things, as in difficult things? I'll give you a very simple definition. If it's something that is difficult enough that other men are scared to do it, or too scared to do it, that's a hard thing to do. You should probably do it. As long as it's something that you find interest in, you know? How do you deal with a needy girlfriend? It's not always a bad thing if your girlfriend is needy. With that said, though, it can get annoying. So if she's getting to the point of annoying, all you got to do is tell her, like, listen, you're making me resent you with all this neediness. and wanting me around and touching me all the time and give me my space. Allow me the chance to miss you. Beat it, bitch. I literally tell these bitches, beat it, bitch. You don't have to say that, but it's part of me. I do that, so you can if you want to. But the point is, you gotta always tie everything back to how you feel about her, because that's what she cares about, especially a needy woman. Needy women, and honestly, when a woman likes you, she becomes needy anyway. Some of them are good at hiding it, which is why they're not as annoying. But the ones that aren't good at hiding it are very annoying. And those ones you tell, listen, you got to give me enough space to miss you. If you're with and around me all the time and you can't get up from under me all the time, then I'm not going to have any space to miss you. And then I'm not going to have any attraction for you anymore. Is that what you want? Ask her this. Is that what you want? She's going to be like, no. Then you're like, okay, good. So you got to give me the space to miss you so I can appreciate you when I'm with you. Okay? And she'll say, okay. And then the rest of the time will just be her fighting her own urges to, go crazy on you every single time. It'll take her time. Give her time. Let her, be patient with her. Women are slow to learn most of the time. But she'll figure it out. Let's see. People is good and fun to have, not gonna lie. Don't give up, dog. Exactly. I would say how to maintain self. I already read that one. Thoughts on a man dating someone with... I already read that one too. Let's see. Maybe add that in there. I will. I definitely will. Failure is just a feedback mechanism. So can you give an overview on how to get a consenting girlfriends when you're married? You already have a wedding ring. That's like, you've already won. A lot of men need to start remembering this and remembering this consciously. Having the ability to attract other women will never not be a good thing. The fact that you have that ring on your finger, that's it. You've won. She knows you're married. You have the capacity for commitment. And you have a woman in your life. All you got to do is be like, oh yeah, I have a wife, but she knows how I get down. And boom. You'll be surprised how often they agree with, like, oh yeah, for sure. Literally, and that's why I always tell you guys, go with the hottest girls. The only girls that'll feel some type of way about it are girls that don't feel like they can compete anyway. Right? Women that aren't the highest with their self-esteem. But if you're dealing with bad bitches, they're like, oh, perfect. I like your relationship with your wife. You guys seem so cool. Pause. Big pause on that. Oh, whoa, I went crazy there. But you guys get the point. This going on YouTube? Sure. Actually, because I have about... I'm going to hit Dimitri up soon. He needs to put some stuff in the group for me. But, all right, we'll do a poll. Let's do a poll. If you want this one going on in the group or the YouTube, let me know. One of my mods, please do me a favor, make a poll. Private community, YouTube. Whoever gets the most votes, I put it there. It's really that simple. Oh, it's 3 p.m., which means another one of my lives just dropped on YouTube. It's all scheduled, by the way. Let me go see... YouTube. And there she is. There we go. So yeah, another, for those of you that want all the lives, I've dropped 3 in the last 18 hours. Congratulations. Let's see. Kai wrong. Duke wrong. Can't be Duke. Nope. Phantom group leader. Phantom. Kai would have been too obvious. Yeah, I know. He's the front runner. He's the face of the group, but he's not the leader of the group. He's not moving shit. Come on. You've seen all of them be in the same room and talk. Who do you think holds the most power? It's definitely not Kai. It's definitely not Duke either. Duke is the mannequin. Duke is the pretty boy of the group. It's not him. What is the astrological sign? What is the astrological sign? Do you enjoy most in... what is the... astrological sign I enjoy most in women, or the one you commonly link with? I don't think there's any single one that I like all of them because they're all useful for something. Every sign is useful for something. Every, birthday is useful for something. Every number is useful for something. So, you know what I mean? Jace, can you give me the structure of the breakup course you sent me? I started posting them. Oh, okay, sure. I will send you that soon. It's on my hard drive somewhere. I'll let you know. I'll let you know. Let's see. I guess that shit. I guess. How can I go about hitting myself? I recently had a couple of encounters. Hitting yourself, huh? But I think that they couldn't feel comfortable hanging out one-on-one. Met through social circle, by the way. Oh, I see. Like you want to start hitting. Okay, all right. Met a couple encounters. Met through social circle. They couldn't feel comfortable, and you fucked them all up. And you met all of them through social circle. Which, by the way, with each girl you couldn't close in the social circle, you kind of fuck up your own reputation a little bit. That's why I hate social circle, right? You fuck up with one girl, you kind of fuck it up with the rest of them. Cold approach is king because you can fuck up as many times as you want, and there's no direct consequence to you long term. But I digress. If you have issues with comfort building, then you need to build comfort correctly. And you have to understand the basic, principles of comfort building, which is just boring conversation, back and forth, asking questions and answering questions. And making them feel like enough time has passed for them to know you and to be able to get away with doing things with you. Right? It's all about reassurance. That's all it is. Let's see. So are you the group leader? And how to become one, trying to put myself in power positions in life. That's where you're fucking up. The group leader isn't given to the person who wants the power. It's the person that wants the responsibility. Or more specifically, the person that's most fitted for the responsibility. The group leader isn't chosen as a group leader subconsciously by everybody else because they want someone to have power over them. They're picking the person that they think has the group's best interest in mind. You have to be someone that actually gives a fuck about your group. Or at least have them believe that you give a fuck. Not that I think you should be underhanded about that because they'll catch you eventually. But that's the point. Like people, even choosing the group leader is a selfish endeavor on people's part. So you have to be someone that they selfishly believe has their best interest in mind. What kind of person would you have to be for that to happen? Would you call grit the most respectable or attractive trait? No. Grit is good, but it will always come second to risk-taking ability. Grit is your ability to keep taking the risk. Risk-taking ability to begin with is what's important. But back to the group leader thing. Yes, being the group leader, don't think about it like a group leader. Think about it like the group servant. Because that's really what the position is. A good leader is a good servant to his people. So think about it like you're the guy who makes sure the boys are straight. And pays attention enough to the boys to know what being straight means for each of the guys. So for instance, in my group, one guy isn't straight until he's had a chance to vent about something that's bothering him. I'm the one that has to hold space for him to do that. Another of my guys isn't straight until he knows what next project he has to focus on. Right? I don't have much control over that, but I can help lead him to knowing how to make the decision about it because of his unique, industry he's in. A different guy, his thing is simple. His relationship is just about one of the most important things in his life, which I've always told him was his major weakness, right? If he isn't settled in that area, he's not straight. Everything else can be good. If something is wrong in that area, he's going to be a little shaky. Guess who has to help him with that? You see what I'm saying? Oh, the school group voted for Thursdays live being the one in between our bi-weekly Saturdays. Cool. So Thursday lives are we'll probably do the first one. We'll see if I can pull it off this Thursday. That'd be cool if we can pull it off this Thursday. Pop-up live, just pop out. But yeah, back to the group leader thing. Like, again, even see what I'm talking about. You have to be attentive enough to know what each of the boys in the group, prioritizes the most. That takes a special kind of individual. You can't just be someone that's looking for power to do that. You have to actually pay attention to what they care about, their value systems, their priorities. And as a result of knowing those things, you also know how to motivate them, right? If you need the boys to do something together, hey, let's go do this together. There's going to be objections. I don't know if I can. Bitch, shut up. You know damn well your mama didn't raise a bitch because I know he's a mama's boy, right? He cares about his mom's validation, so I put that in there. right? And you, what the fuck do you think your girl would think if you actually pulled this off? Because I know for him, it's his girl. And you were talking about being a fucking 100 millionaire by what age? Aren't you like 3 years away and you were saying no to this? How, if you can say no to this, how can you say yes to the projects you need to say yes to? Because I know that's his motivation. He's the money guy, you see. So understanding things from their point of view and then using that to make their lives better. That's what makes you a good group leader. And that's why people will be like, I'll follow this fucking guy. I will follow him around. They won't even notice when they're doing it. I will follow him around like fleas on shit. You see me? Leadership is not about power alone, but being a servant. It can be a lot of tasks too. Literally, like me and Kay were just talking about this. It's a lot of responsibility. A lot of you don't even want to be the group leader. You think you do. You think you want this shit. You don't. You don't want to be the group leader. Because when shit goes wrong, guess who everyone looks to? Guess who has to solve it? Guess who has to come up with the ideas? Guess who has to keep motivating the boys in the trenches when things are looking glim and dark? Right? You have to be the one to have certainty and courage when you realistically can't even have none. You have to be Captain Irwin, have your arm bit off by a fucking Titan and still be like, I said advance, goddammit. Do you understand what kind of mindset you have to pull that off? You got your arm in the Titan's mouth talking about some advance. Come on. Come on. It's a special kind of person. So think about it. Again, going back to AMP. Of all the people in that group, when things were looking bad in that group and they were first starting out and the numbers weren't looking the way they wanted them to in the beginning, who do you think was in the group like, hey, don't worry, we're going to make it one day? You think it was fucking Kai? No. You think it was Duke? Hell no. It was Phantom. Phantom was like, nah, don't worry about it, son. We going to make it there, you heard? God would. Phantom was the guy. See, that's the leader. That's the job of the leader. That's his motivational point. That's what he's for. As the new Andrew Tate, are you ready for all the scrutiny that's coming? Well, we'll see. I don't know if I'll ever be ready, but this is what I've chosen. For better, for worse, I am Jace the Pickup Scientist. Bring it on. Let's see. You're so handsome. Thank you. Just put the tip in and see how it feels. That's funny. I feel as if I'm the quiet hype man of my friend group. That's good. That's good. Oh, and by the way, you're not gonna start out as the group leader in every group. You're gonna start out as other members of certain groups, and then you get older and become the group leader. I didn't really start becoming the quote unquote group leader till I was like, what, 23, 24? I was never the group leader in high school. Hell no. I was never the group leader anywhere else. Right? I was put in some positions of responsibility in some places, especially with the church, but that was about it. I wasn't no group leader. Right? Even as a prefect in high school, I didn't even know how to use the leadership back then, but that was important. It was important for me to fail at those positions so I know what not to do as a leader later. Right? All those failures of not knowing how to make a mere, 3,000 students follow me back then, when I was 14, 13, have led me to the person I am now where I can have hundreds of thousands of people around the world follow me. You get it? That's the point. I told Jace that he is going to be that new guy. It'll be scary eventually, too. Yeah, I'm going to be here, too. Absolutely. And I appreciate the support along the way. And, it's going to happen. All that, the scrutiny, the this, the that, the looking into my past and all that. I sleep good at night knowing that I don't really have anything terrible in my past that they can point out and be like, you did this thing there. What, they gonna find a few parking tickets? Like, I'll be straight, man. I'm all right, But, I have no fears, no worry about any of that. With that said, though, I'm not naive enough to not believe that the media will do what it's meant to do and lie about me. I mean, we've seen that happen with even smaller creators on this very app. People mischaracterizing me, people putting words in my mouth that I did not say, people putting me in a box that I cannot fit in. You know, motherfuckers have tried to blunt me in with the red pill. As if I haven't been against the red pill since fucking day one. Go back to my fucking first few videos from 3 years ago, right? So it is what it is. It's gonna happen. Regardless, I got God on me, so I'm not worried. I was a quiet kid first, then pretty boy till 2021, then group leader from 2022 type shit. See, it's a natural progression. We all gotta pay our dues and be the one that follows in the group and learn from the group leader. And those are the people that become the group leader very quickly and very effectively. It's the people that learn from the group leader. I benefited from really shamelessly following motherfuckers. I talked about it in a previous live. This guy used to follow around that was older than me, Chijioke. Shout out to him. I still love that boy. People would literally tell me, you don't have any mind of your own. Why are you always following him? I didn't give a fuck. Where is Chijioke? Where is he? I'll follow him anywhere he goes. And learning from him put me so much further ahead than all my other peers. It just did. You know? Now they don't play fair. They conjure things up. Yes, they do. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. They don't play fair. You know, it is what it is. The social order is a social order is a social order. It's gonna do what it do. You feel me? Very, very interesting. Yes, it takes a certain mind to lead all the boys. It does. Lol, same. Followed the group leader for like 7 years. Type shit. Literally, you gotta have a mentor to learn under. Motherfuckers think they're gonna go from point A to Z. No, where's B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, C, U. You get the point. Like, there's levels, there's steps, and you gotta make and it's better you make your mistakes when no one is watching. So you don't have to come out later and then make your mistake in front of the world. That's why I feel sorry for like child actors and child musicians, because they gotta go through all those processes in the public eye. I think about Justin Bieber, poor Justin, to have to go through all that shit that we all went through, but in the public eye and get more scrutiny for it. You don't think that changes your brain chemistry? Fuck, dude. Feel sorry for that guy. Shout out to Justin Bieber, though. I'm never going to admit this ever again, but I used to be, I don't know if I can call myself still am, but I was the biggest Bieber fan. Like, studying choreography, I know all the words to the My World album, My World 2.0, Mistletoe album, Believe, Boyfriend, all that shit. I was... Purpose, the entire Purpose album, I was in Chicago at the time. Shit. But yeah, we're not going to talk about that. It was Christ and his boys. He mentored them in 3 years. It was Peter after, literally. And if you look at it, the Bible is literally just a bunch of group leaders passing on the torch to the next group leader. You know, Joshua was under Moses for a while, which is why he became the guy after Moses passed. You see? That's how it works. You learn under this person, that person learns under this person, that person learns under this person, and boom. You pass on the knowledge, not just the genetics, but the knowledge, the ideology, on for generations, and it gets improved over time. It's very important. Sometimes when texting a new girl, the first day goes well, but the next day, I get cold as fuck advice. When you say you get cold as fuck, are you talking about your motivation to text her? Are you talking about the text itself dying or she's not responding? What are you talking about? Let's see. Yeah, congrats, bro. Yes. Thank you. I feel like some people are just natural group leaders. Absolutely, but I'm telling you, those people practice too. They might have had a shorter amount of time to practice and had started practicing early, but they had a period of time where they practiced. There's no one that's really born that way, if that makes sense. Like, for instance, Barron Trump right now, that's Donald Trump's son. Dude is like 18. Already all the fucking group leader energy about him. And you might think, oh, he's just naturally born that way. No, he fucking wasn't. His dad is Donald Trump. He's been learning the secrets of leadership since he was like fucking 6 years old. I like my suitcase, right? He's been doing that since that age. Most of us don't start learning leadership till, I got lucky. I started at like maybe 12, 10 is when I really started understanding the baby steps of leadership. Most people don't really learn till they get thrust into their first job at like 20. At like 20 something, mid 20s, early 30s, really, Barron Trump has been learning since he was 6. Now he's 18. That's 12 years of practice. Hell yeah, he's a group leader. You might think it's natural. I argue it's not. He's just had a father that's put that in him on purpose. I wish we all had that dad. I mean, I kind of did, low-key. But I wish we all had that parent that made you learn something from a very young age, so that by the time you get to the workplace, it's undeniable. Like, that meme of people being like, the number of years of experience you need before most of these jobs want to hire you. And they show like a picture of like a baby in a construction site, right? And it's like a ha-ha, laugh thing. By the time that baby graduates college, they'll have 20 years of experience, ha-ha, jokes. But in reality, that's how it works. That's literally how it works. If you put a baby, well, not a baby, not a literal baby or a toddler, but a young child, and you start giving him construction toys to play with, and then you progressively overload his idea of how construction works and force him to interact with construction equipments and this and that, learning how to talk to foremen and landscapers and roofers, and learning how to lead and organize these teams so that they can build houses. By the time he's 15, he's a bona fide fucking construction manager. He's an architect. He knows how to read a blueprint. You just got to start them young. You just have to start them young. 20 is young. I started early 30s. Exactly. Most people don't start learning leadership till later. So for those of us that got lucky and started learning very young, we're fucking fortunate. I started like 10, 11, 12 really. I didn't really start getting good at it till, let's say, 2021, I think, is when I really started getting good at it. Up until then, I mean, I was a few group leader positions here and there, but it didn't last long because I was just fucking up terribly. It takes a lot to become the kind of person people want to follow. You know how much value you have to add to other people's lives for them to keep being like, okay, I'll follow this guy? Like, come on. I'm not talking follow like the internet, just click a button. I'm talking like actually lean on every word you say. And then imagine the amount of responsibility that is for you, because now you have to be careful with what you say. Which is a whole different skill I had to learn, because I used to be a reckless speaker. I still kind of am, let's be honest. But you get the point. It's like a lot of different skills and sub-skills within that. It's a lot of work. What is the evolutionary psychology behind nymphomaniacs who are females? Well, hypersexuality could be a cause of a few different things. It could be the cause of trauma as a child, so it's like a defense mechanism. It could be the cause of, frankly, stuff like ADHD and ADD might be the cause of hypersexuality, because they're using sex and sexual pleasure as a stimmy almost to keep their minds preoccupied. See, so we give it a fancy name, nymphomaniacs or whatever. Don't overcomplicate it in your mind too much. The point is, sex is split into two: reproduction and pleasure. And we confuse what people do with it from a pleasure standpoint with what people do with it from a reproduction standpoint sometimes. You can separate it to some degree. They're one and the same, but you can separate it to some degree. Let's see. Girl, welcome to the club. That's funny. Don't forget to make him that scary ritual, that super embarrassing one. Don't tell him. Type shit. I know you're joking. Nightclub game. Day game is way better. How do I show her that I'm the exception without status or money? Your behavior. Your behavioral cues. Do things that other men won't think to do. I gotta go soon, guys. I actually gotta go like 10 minutes ago. I'm gonna speed through these last ones. Yo, bro, put this on YouTube. Did we ever do the poll or no? Feed us on YouTube, damn. I got 3 videos up there now, so y'all are fed for a while. I got a lot to post on YouTube, so they're scheduled. Give it a second, let it get there, and give me a second, bitches. Let them get there, pimpin'. Let's see. Wagwan General, what a lot. Where you been, man? It's been so long. Yeah. I've messed up and now suffering from going against your teachings. Hey, it happens, but forgive yourself. It's okay. Bad habits are hard to tame out, but once you do, you can get out of your own way and start using what I teach a lot more smoothly. But if you slip off from time to time, it's okay. It's okay. Most are my favorite type. I feel that. I wouldn't call them my favorite, but they're definitely up there for me. Most are awesome. Most are fucking great. You didn't answer the question on how I think the leadership becomes situational. Yeah, leadership is situational. It's an environment to environment type of thing, for sure. Would you call... Oh, they read that one. Will the lives be around the same time this one started? Most of my lives will be, yes. I'm trying to set a time. You guys want to schedule time for lives? Because I think that'd be cool. If I can schedule time for lives, that'd be awesome. Let's see. The fact that people want to be group leader tells me they're clueless. Right. Absolutely. Shit ain't easy. I'm a lone wolf due to personality, and I moved from DC to LA. Any tips to make friend groups? You're a dude. The best, and your name is Dude, ironically. But the best thing about being a dude is you can make friends with anybody. Do you realize you can just walk up to a guy, tap him on the shoulder, and be like, hey, we're friends now. Give me your phone number. Literally. You don't have to think about it like a ceremony. It doesn't have to be a ceremony. You're a dude. Dudes can make friends everywhere. I've made friends by accident. Fucking buying coffee, dog park. Hell, I fucked around and said, let me go on my Pokemon Go account and see what I'm doing there. It's been a while. Played a game real quick. Noticed that there was a gym that was a legendary Pokemon was on there for like a few more minutes. I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna run over there, go get it. Apparently me and some other white dude, we had the same idea. We took it down together. Exchanged phone numbers. Even traded a few Pokemon. It was great. It was fucking great. Just you're a dude. You don't have to complicate it. Just be like, hey, we're friends now. I'm gonna get you a drink. Boom, you're friends. Guys, jump into Jason's community. Yes, join my private community. Links in bio, all that crazy stuff. You can talk to me. Like, if you enjoy these lives, I do these bi-weekly and then on Thursdays as well. I think 1 or 2 Thursdays a month. We haven't decided yet. On my private community, and this is a one-on-one thing. So it's me, you, the boys. We're talking one-on-one. You talk, I talk. You talk back, I talk back. It's like amazing one-on-one coaching. It's great. So, and on top of that, my courses, all that good stuff in there, guides, books, PDFs, all that good stuff, all in there. Links in the bio. Don't forget to check my VN, your voice notes, when you have the chance. Yes, sir, I will. I'm definitely scrutinizing that. Am I the only one writing notes? You better not be. I keep telling you guys, everything I put out is like a course on its own. You better take your fucking notes. And I'm sure if you've been listening for more than an hour, you can see the value we're dropping in these lives. They're definitely worth remembering later. Never trust your mind to remember once what you heard once. To remember twice what you heard once. That's the same. Never do that. Remember, your mind is like a sponge. And if it only gets hit once, it's not going to absorb it. Right? So you got to give it a chance to repeat, which means you got to write it down somewhere so you can go back to it. Okay? Bringing it on. As an OG follower, I'm ready to see it. Let's go. Let's go. They'll say you run a cult, which, by the way, if that is the rumor that ends up being spread about me, that is the best one they can spread. I will gladly be a cult leader. Are you kidding me? I like that one. Call me a cult leader, which, now that I've said that, now they'll know not to do it because they know I want that. They'll come up with something else. But cult leader, shit, let's go. Let's go. I don't mind that one. And also, if I do become a cult leader, then I lose a bet with my dad, though. So I owe that nigga some money. But yeah, some reason I notice our minds also changes info. Kind of weird. It's good to watch replays for context. Yes, your mind is a trickster. Your mind is a trickster of your own reality and perception. So remember that. Write things down, keep it in solid black and white or in an electronic device so that you can go back to it for context. Your mind has this weird trick it does, man. Really weird. When you gonna cut off the high top and go full head? That's a good question. That's a good fucking question. I don't even mean to have this high top. I haven't gone to the barbers in a while, so I don't, I take a clipper and I just do this, and I come out here. That's all I do. I literally haven't touched this since I cut it. Like, look at the ends right here. It's not smoothed out at all. I don't really want a high top. I just have one. I'll probably get it dreaded again. I like my short dreads when I had them. I'll probably just get that sponge roller thing and do that or whatever, see what happens. But yeah, I'll figure it out. Either that or I'm going full bald. Fuck it, we bald. Huh. When all the boys start to lock in the friend group, I feel as if the leadership role is situational. Lock in. It's not situational at that point. It just means different dudes in the group have different roles. There's nothing wrong with that. I was the quiet, then the fighter, then the leader. Type shit. My progression was very similar too. I had a fighter phase in there too, where I was the crash out. I was the fucking guy. I was the crash out. It did not last long because I actually started getting into real sparring situations, not just street fights, like actual, getting my ass handed to me in jiu-jitsu was a good one. That humbles you very quickly. If you're a crash out, go to a jiu-jitsu class or two. That shit will stop. I promise you. Because it's a humbling experience to find out that someone smaller than you can inflict more damage on you than you can help. Fresh and Fit might even throw a few strays. I'm trying to see how they lie to themselves about what they know and say. Hey, I've been throwing strays at them since the beginning. Not even really strays, just straight up bombs. I don't be doing no sneak disses. I just say what I say. So fuck them. I still respect them for their work ethic, though. It's very obvious by this point that what I've been saying for 3 years about them is true, right? They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Well, there you go. I had a friend like that by the name of Namdi who was quiet, but he always had my back. I had a quiet Namdi as well. One of the most fiercely loyal motherfuckers. Honestly, to this day, I haven't spoken to this kid in like 2 years, but I bet you if we were to talk, he would still be the most warming, kind motherfucker ever. But yeah, and Namdi was that guy. The irony, though, is he was the crash out as well. When we were in the friend group together, I was the hype man in that friend group. He was a quiet kid. But if something went crazy, he was a crash out. Instantly. He had anger like you wouldn't believe. That's why he stayed quiet all the time. We would literally call this nigga Bruce Banner. Not even kidding. Bruce Banner. Crazy dude. Crazy fucking dude. But yeah, light skin. Good dude. He taught me what authenticity was. Ain't that beautiful? Isn't it beautiful to see people, even though those people aren't, that much older than you, literally teaching you amazing things. Thanks for 17K likes, guys. We're 17. Wow, thanks for 18K. It's 18K. Thanks for 18K, guys. Appreciate that. Let's see. I feel like some people are just not on their own. Best way to reset the frame, should I use your strategy of being a simp and then boom? You can do that one too. But make sure the boom happens a lot quicker. Straight up, I'm 20 and just learning now. Type shit. 20 is young, honestly. 20 is young. Yeah. Advantages of having a dad, man. And a certain dad, for sure. If having a certain dad is just a massive leg up on life, dude. Having a strong father is such a fucking massive leg up. The older I get, the more I appreciate my dad. Was my dad the best dad in the world? No. Like, he made a lot of mistakes. And, he was emotional from time to time, and it cost him his family. But honestly, the man he was, especially during my formative years, fuck. I appreciate that motherfucker, man. I do. Shout out to Dad. Jace, how do I show women or prove that I'm the exception? I already read that one. And the answer to that question, by the way, is behavior. Your behavioral cues are what create your status in her eyes. What you're willing to do around her to show her that you don't think of her as the most important thing in your life. All right? Let's see. He dropping jewels. Thank you. For you make so much mistakes, but it's experience. It is, and you want to make them young and quickly. My dad is strong, but he's the Lulu. He thought he was there, but he wasn't. He ran to New York. I feel that. My dad wasn't the Lulu. You know, when he ran, he told everybody. Like, he didn't run anyway. Like, he went. He was like, "There's greener pastures abroad. I'm gonna go to Europe and fend for my family." And that's exactly what he did for 10 years. Massive sacrifice, but he did his thing. You know, this is very true. My father taught me everything about olive trees. Then I was 8. Now 18. The first year I took the business type shit on my own. Now you're an expert in all things olives and olive trees. Look at that. And it started from a young age. So now you have such a leg up on everybody else in your industry because your father laid the foundation from a kid. I'm public speaking right now. My dad was a pastor. So guess who learned the secrets of public speaking from like 6 years old? You see what I'm saying? So no shit, I know how to put information in the correct order on the fly. I'm not reading off no script right now. I never really read off a script anyway. I'm saying it like there's a time I do. I'm always off the cuff. Everything I do is off the cuff. But that takes years of practice, you see. To be able to just know how to correctly divulge information is a skill. And my dad trained me in that. My mom trained me in that. Honestly, my mom is a better public speaker, to be completely honest. My dad is a better one-on-one persuader, right? The interpersonal relationships guy. My mom is a better public speaker. My dad is a playboy, cheater. My where'd it go? It disappeared. No. Are we? Before I leave, though, are we all settled on the fact that this is going on YouTube? My dad is a playboy / cheater. LOL. My stepdad is strong but loyal. Best of both worlds. Dude, that explains so much. Dude. Okay, here's my next question, Kay. Have you spent more time with your stepdad than with your actual dad? Because that will explain so much. That explains so much. That's why you have the bad boy frame and setting, but with the good guy tendencies. That explains. So you're your stepdaddy's son. No, make it for the group. Let them come there to watch it. All right, cool. Group it is. Let's see. Do you think a woman would treat her children badly if she doesn't really like the father? Absolutely. She'll treat the father badly. She'll treat the children badly. She'll use the children to treat the father badly. Absolutely. The children get the brunt of it when there's resentment towards the father. Absolutely. Yeah, more time with the stepdad. When I was younger, more time with my dad. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah. So stepdad during your teenage years then, right? Real dad during formative, stepdad during teenage, if I had to guess. I noticed that in the formative years, the man needs to show up. Absolutely crucial, but whatever. Yes. I'll put it like this. The formative years are good for the man to be there because that's where you learn the behavioral cues naturally, right? If you just see guys that just have naturally good behavioral cues, like good body language, they learned that between ages 4 to 10. That's when the behavior really sets in. The ideology really begins to kick in ages 11 to 14, 15. So whatever man was there in that time, that's where a lot of, even till this day, your belief systems, your way of looking in the world, that's where you got it from. I was blessed to be surrounded by very intelligent people. That's why I sound like them, right? During those years. And it's very important during those years because that's when testosterone is beginning to be introduced to your body. So those beliefs are not only just coming as beliefs, they're coming with conviction. You see? So it's very important. Very, very important. Do you think a woman... Oh, you read that one. I've had situations where I was temporarily given more responsibility in the squad. Situations where the boys knew I was the best and I was suddenly in charge. Don't mistake it. You weren't suddenly in charge. You were just there to complete that task. Don't again, even the fact that you're mistaking that for some kind of leadership role, That alone tells me why you're not the group leader. Right there. Right there. You got to know your place in the group, man. Because, again, these were temporary roles. You got the job done, and you went right back to your actual position, and that's the point. Just because the midfielder goes forward to score a goal doesn't mean he's a striker now. Come on now. Know your place. Be humble. Why do some people have more pressure than others, like they're their own person? Pressure? They're their own person. Like, I don't know what we mean by that. Like, why do they feel more alone? Why do they put more pressure on themselves? Is that what you mean? You guys gonna hear my beautiful voice. Indeed. How would I go about dating girls outside of my state? Why would you want to do that? They're so far away. Date girls in your state. What's wrong with the girls in your state? You know? What would you say is your best social media again? I don't really know. I guess I would have to say TikTok. I probably spend the most time on here. If you want to reach me though, Instagram. Hit me on Instagram. Tips on dating older women. Make them feel young again. That's the major thing you have to put in there. You have to show them passion, energy, fun, and spontaneity. Impulsive decisions turn them on. Jace, do you see who likes your lives the most at the end of the life? Yes, I do. But only at the end. I don't see it now. Still waiting on the Top V collab. You seem busy these days. So listen, I'm about to take over YouTube. When we're doing that, Todd V is like first on my fucking checklist. Absolutely. Gotta get back to work. Hey, so do I, honestly. My dad is like Skips from regular show. He always knows a guy. Type shit. All right, guys. I gotta bounce. I have to bounce. It is time for me to leave. I have had so much fun with this live. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys for being here all the way, especially those of you that stayed from the beginning till now. You guys already know all the deal. You know, want to get my course to learn how to incorporate women into your life from scratch up until the date. Get the interview, link in bio. Want to talk to me personally, book a coaching call with me. Want to join my private community, right? Very inexpensive monthly subscription. All those links are in the bio, right? So I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Again, thank you for listening to me. I will never take your attention for granted. It's been Jace, your favorite scientist. Do with all this information what you must.